This is what the newest roller coaster in Florida is gonna look like. Well, actually, I hope not. This is terrible AI art. Look at this. There's a drop that goes nowhere. Besides that, this is concept art put out by Busch Gardens themselves, Florida's best thrill park, and it's getting a major 300-foot upgrade. A lot has changed at this park, with the removal of the classic roller coaster Scorpion to the unexpected closure of Kumba since November of last year, and when Busch Gardens invited me out to see the brand new Wild Oasis part of it, which is where I asked the park president himself about this roller coaster we've been begging for 5 years about.
You guys just recently put out a survey that mentioned the possibility of a 300-foot roller coaster.
Our day starts off with getting a private escort to the theme park on the back of a golf cart.
All right, we are on a golf cart being taken to the site of the brand new Wild Oasis. This is sick. Just a little bit ago, we got to go and see the construction side of this, so it's gonna be really, really awesome to see it completely finished, or mostly finished. It's a technical rehearsal, so not everything is 100% as they're getting it ready for the public.
Can we go ride Scorpion after this?
My favorite part is always getting the little golf cart escorts.
I wish they had breakfast though.
Just got escorted and now you're asking for food?
And coffee. Coffee would be really good.
It was then time to enter this building for a special announcement.
What do you think is in here?
Giga.
A capybara.
Scorpion in here?
Dude, we were all wrong.
We had no clue what this announcement was about. But then the Busch Gardens Park president himself
All right, good morning. Very exciting stuff. Thank you for coming out today.
walked out and told us all the newest Busch Gardens news. Brand new animals like meerkats and capybaras.
Animal care.
I want to see a capybara.
A brand new restaurant being added to the park.
Kumba at Rank Cafe is opening this week. You're going to get a chance to take a taste while you're here with us this
The
morning.
Kumba roller coaster that everyone's been speculating would be ripped out is finally opening back up the summer of
We're
2025.
incredibly excited for the reopening of Kumba coming this summer. Kumba has been a staple.
Out of everything he mentioned, he didn't talk about the survey mentioning a 300-foot roller coaster. Why? Because of that, I made it my mission to track down Jeff and ask him about it myself. But then he told us to get our hard hats because we had to go into the construction site of Wild Oasis.
All right, we're all set. All right, walking to the construction site, I'm almost a little weirded out. Not because I'm not excited about this, but because we've already done this before. We've already seen a construction tour of Wild Oasis. What's gonna be different this time? I was hoping to get on some rides. I don't know if that'll be the case. Are the rides even ready?
You think Scorpion's ready?
I really like this. The brand new restaurant is right here to the left, and then to the right is Wild Oasis, so you can play right after you eat, or vice versa.
With several attractions like climbing areas and a drop tower, I needed to see what progress was actually made from my last visit. And is this thing ready to open up on time?
This is cool. This is nice. I like the color scheme so far. This looks really, really nice. It's so far really well done. Obviously still under construction. You have like net towers, and towers like that are just huge. They go so high up. That is the wooden bridge. Check it out. That is sick. It's gonna like go across the climbing structure, but it's so sick. It just wrapped up in a big ball like that. So that gap is where the bridge is gonna go, and it's gonna cross from point A to point B, which is so sick. So with the capybaras, I'm a big capybara fan. I was a big capybara fan before they were super popular via the internet. Will there be any way to interact with the capybaras? If not, like from the general public standpoint, do you guys have any sort of intention of doing a capybara experience or a VIP package or something along those lines?
I love the way that you phrased that at the very beginning, because I literally just said the same thing, that we were capybara fans before it was cool. I can say that we're not announcing anything today about an interaction program, but I will give you a wink and say that we're always trying to find a way to bring people closer and closer to animals.
Call me when you have a time for me to meet a capybara. What is this? I think it is really important to have things for families. As much as this is a park that is so focused about bringing very, very, very amazing thrills, gotta have a little something for the kids, and this is perfect. Like little details like the paw prints in the mats. It's so fun. I am noticing though that there's a really long queue line down there. I think that's for the drop tower. So let's go talk about the drop tower. Can we ride the drop tower? Do you think we could ride the drop tower?
You know the answer to that is no.
What about Scorpion?
I want to ride that. So
You guys remember Tony was telling us last time we were here, they're putting in screen effects, lighting, like lasers, and it's cool to see them get started on this project. I was just hoping it would be finished by now. Tony, I'll be honest, when I woke up this morning when I was driving here to Busch Gardens Tampa, I was hoping my butt would be in the seat of this drop tower. Do you guys at least have a timeline, or can you tell me if it's gonna open with Wild Oasis?
We do have a timeline that we're working through right now. The seats are on site very, very soon.
Woo. Well, I'm very excited to see the progress and the seats. So is the queue underneath that climbing structure, is that for this or is that for the climbing structure? Because I would hate to wait in a line to climb.
There is no queue for the climbing structure. It is an open explore zone. The queue that's beneath the climbing garden is for the treetop drop experience.
I'd wait in a line for this. What would you wait in a line for, Hunter?
Just under 40.
King Giga.
After touring Wild Oasis again, I was still left with so many questions. Is Kumba reopening for the foreseeable future? Or will they announce a closing date with the reopening? What's going to take the place of Scorpion? Does Hunter not know Scorpion got demolished? What's this rumored 300-foot coaster going to look like? Will it be called Scorpion's Revenge?
If they do it, it should be called Scorpion's Revenge.
I had to find Jeff and ask him myself about this rumored roller coaster.
No. Thank you so much
Yes,
for your
sir.
time, Jeff.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about this place?
What I'm really excited about is the fact of all the elements that it combines, right?
course.
To me, it's like Busch Gardens and what it represents.
Of
like
course.
ride, zoo, food, play structures, shade for parents to kind of recharge.
I like how you mentioned all the different things that Busch Gardens represents. You mentioned one thing that speaks to me quite a bit, that being rides,
Yeah.
and high thrill rides specifically.
Yeah.
So even though there's no elephants within this enclosure, I like to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
You guys just recently put out a survey
Okay.
that mentioned the possibility of a 300-foot roller coaster. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, so listen, we're always surveying our guests, talking to our guests about what they want to see here. So our job, or my job, is to make sure I understand, what the public wants to see, what our guests that come to the park, whether it's one time or 100 times, what are they interested in seeing? So that's what that survey is. It's really just for us to get a snapshot of, hey, what do you want to see? And then we take that into account as we do our planning.
That's awesome. So let Jeff know what you want.
Let me know.
As Jeff mentioned, there's several things that make up Busch Gardens. It's not just crazy thrill rides or awesome net structures. But food is a very important thing here at Busch Gardens. And truthfully, if I'm being honest with you guys, Busch Gardens really hasn't been known for having top of the line food choices. So I'm excited to see what this is all about. This is a brand new food spot and I want to see if it's any good. We got chicken croquetas. These look amazing. Down the hatch. That is so good. It's so nice to see different food at a theme park, something that's different than your pizza, your cheeseburgers. It's very important that you have diversity like this Latin cuisine. The theme park market is competitive, especially in Florida. You are competing with a lot of parks with really, really good food options here in Florida. I'm not saying that this is gonna be the reason you come to Busch Gardens. I think this is a step in the right direction to up-leveling food options here at Busch Gardens Tampa. Look, so if anything came as a surprise today, it was the fact that this thing's actually reopening. If you guys have followed me, I have been the biggest hater of all the Save Kumba rumors. I think it's silly. It's a great ride, don't get me wrong, but is it worth preserving? In my opinion, no, it's not. Jeff said that this ride is opening. Said it'll be reopening this summer and follow back up with us with some dates. But I'm still not confident that that means that this ride is staying forever. Even though it is somewhat of a roller coaster landmark, being one of B&M's first sit-down looping coasters, reaching the end of its life cycle, it's an expensive ride to maintain, and if they wanted to do some of these things that people are suggesting, like retracking the entire roller coaster, that's gonna be really expensive. That's a multi-million-dollar project for a ride that isn't gonna pull in those numbers. And that's just the track. If you wanna redesign the trains or replace the trains, each train is a couple $1,000,000. This is an expensive project for it to always be a ride with no line. If you ask me, I think this ride's only gonna be open for the summer. They're gonna tell us to get our last rides. But like I said, there was a survey that just came out asking pass holders what they'd like to see. There were a couple options. One of them was like a themed water ride, but the one that stood out from the crowd was putting a 300-foot roller coaster, something which I think would replace this very well. They didn't say it would replace Kumba, I'm just with Epic Universe opening an hour away and Orlando being one of the biggest tourist hubs in the world, they need something to pull all those crowds down to Tampa. Retracking Kumba definitely isn't going to do that.
What happened to Scorpion?
As tragic as it is to see a classic roller coaster go and to see it kind of ripped out in such a brutal way, theme parks aren't museums, so sometimes keeping up an old ride forever isn't the best idea. With the coaster being gone, that means there's a big empty plot of land. They're definitely not going to keep it empty like this for long, or at least I hope. There is a rumor going around that the Stanley Falls Log Flume is going to be the next removal at this park. But going back to the survey, on top of the 300-foot roller coaster, another option was a well-themed water ride. If they remove the Stanley Falls Log Flume, that also opens up a lot of space. They could use the same exact technology as Catapult Falls over at SeaWorld San Antonio, which I got to ride with Hunter, and we both loved it. Catapult Falls or Scorpion?
Scorpion. Although I did like Cubs.
I think Busch Gardens is in a really interesting state right now. If you look at this park in a year or 2 years, it's going to look completely different. probably 300 feet different. You'll probably be able to see it from the highway. It'll be really cool.
Scorpion. No. What'd they do to you? Scorpion 2. It looks like King Ducat.